Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Cusimano. I handle artist relations for VOX here in the United States. And with me today, we have Linda Perry and Lindsay Ell celebrating our Women Who Rock VOX month. And I'm going to step away and let these two wonderful musicians have a chat. And I will see you guys in a bit.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank
Hey,
you,
Linda.
Tom.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's so nice to meet you on, this crazy virtual environment that we've gotten so used to.
Yeah, we're in that movie. I mean, we've seen it. I've seen it in movies happen. You know, when my father was, he worked for General Dynamics. It's a company that turned into basically Macintosh. But this was in the 70s, and he took us to, he used to design computer chips and like, you know, Pong and stuff like that, like make the
Yeah.
little designs for that. And
Crazy.
he took us to a convention, and it was only for the General Dynamic, you know, family, right? And so we're at this place, all these gadgets, you know, and I'm talking about 1972 maybe. And there was a phone. It was a big computer with the phone on it. And I was like, what is this? And he's like, you stay right here, pick up the phone. And then he went somewhere, and then and I saw him in the screen, and I picked up the phone, like, Dad. And so I could see him like this, but mine holding the big phone, you know, like as a talking like this, right? Anyways, I'm like, that's amazing. And he said, yeah, this is probably never going to see the light of day because it's too much for people to take in. It's too much, you know, like people aren't ready for this. But anyways, in 1972, there was an actual FaceTime on a phone, not a computer. And
That's insane.
yeah,
Who knew you were looking into the future?
Yeah, who knew? And then, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely been through quite the crazy past year, but you know, I kind of want to start. You have just put out your first song in 15 years, The Letter. Congrats on that, by the way. How does that feel?
You know, it's been, you know, I did this score for this movie, Kid 90s, a documentary that Soleil Moon Frye did.
Punky Brewster.
Punky Brewster. And she basically, talking about inventing here, the first timers, she was the original selfie, the original IG story. She, after leaving Punky Brewster, she started documenting everything on a camcorder, like everything. Like she had a journalistic POV of her whole, you know, growing up, and hours and hours and hours of tape of her friends, which were her friends were Jenny Lewis, all the kids in the movie Kids, Leonardo DiCaprio, my wife Sarah Gilbert, Tobey Maguire, the kids from 90210, Saved by the Bell, like all the, like in this movie is all these child stars that you are big now that you didn't know was going to be big, at Robin Thicke. So I scored the film, and at the end of the movie, 16-year-old Soleil wrote, you know, she thought about the future of her grown-up self, and wrote her grown-up self a letter asking, you know, I hope you know, found love. I wonder who you made love with, you know, all along the way. And do you have friends? And, you know, who made it, who didn't, you know. So I wrote a song based on that letter, and that's why it's called The Letter. And yeah, so it's out, and I made a video for it as well that's coming out on Friday. But as far as how I feel, you know, a little weird, a little insecure, but at the same time, I'm not an artist per se, so I'm not really banking my life and career on this song,
Right.
but it's frightening and rejuvenating at the same time. Like I feel
Yeah.
rejuvenated by releasing some music, and I feel like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. I am
I
an artist.
Yeah, absolutely. You are definitely an artist that so many of us look up to, me included in that. And congrats on that. That's a huge deal,
Thank
and I commend you for it. I mean, it's a vulnerable thing to write and record and produce music, let alone release something in 15 years. That's so awesome. When I saw that, I'm just like, just when we thought Linda Perry couldn't become more of a badass. Um, but speaking about being a producer and songwriter, I mean, in the late 90s, early 2000s, you like just came into the scene and were on top of the game in terms of producing and songwriting. I mean, what was that like, for sure, being a woman on the scene and like versus what came before you, like really coming and making a difference?
um well, the thing about that, my actions are not of a woman.
Mm.
My actions are that of a creative human being.
Amen.
I don't identify with any particular genre. I'm just Linda. And so it has been probably not purposely uh what's the word? Understated, but
Yeah,
just it's just, again, like I said, I don't move through life as, oh, I'm a woman doing this.
me either.
I
Yeah.
just I go through life as I'm Linda, doing this. So, that time was interesting because I had been, when I left my band, I made a couple albums. Well, I made one album with Interscope, and they just shelved it. I mean, it was so dark, and so it was a great record. It was a beautiful record called In Flight. But it was not Four Non Blondes and didn't have a What's Up, and I told them,
Right.
I said I wasn't gonna have a hit on this song. I wanna have an album that just, feels good for me, and, so they shelved it, and then, I, was like, "Ah, that kinda hurts." That stung a little bit, and then, I just write music, so then I was about to, like, maybe contemplate. I got out of Interscope, it's been a couple of years, and I was about to contemplate maybe going to get another deal, and then I met, Alicia more Pink, and then I had written that song "Get the Party Started" as a joke, not a joke, but I didn't mean to. It was more so like, I'm an analog person.
Yeah.
I play all the instruments. I, play all the way through, not just a section and then loop it.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to know what was that sound that I was hearing on the radio, because it just sounded like that wasn't what was happening. And that was like that was almost 2000. So 99, 2000. And so then I bought all this gear, MPC, Triton. Like somebody told me, oh, yeah,
Yes.
that's an MPC, that's a Triton,
The
that's a blah, blah, blah. The
Triton.
Triton, right? So I like buy all this, and I'm like looking at this gear going, oh, God, this is ugly. There's nothing, especially that Triton. It's like so big and ugly. But I'm like,
Triton.
okay. So I just plugged everything in, and then I was just trying to figure it out. Like I was just, okay, this is what the MPC does. Oh, okay, loaded my sounds. Oh, kick, snare. Okay, oh, that pad does that. Okay, boom, boom, and just started coming up with the beat, added some percussion, and then couldn't find a bass sound that I liked, so I just picked up my bass. Anyways, so literally 30 minutes later, I have this song, and I'm laughing, going, "What the hell is this? I wrote a fucking dance hit." And then a
Amazing.
week later, Pink calls me, and then I give her that song. Go, hey, what do you think of this? And then she calls me and says, "L.A. Reid said we have our first single."
Goodness gracious, what an amazing
So that
story.
started my whole thing. Then I became, what happens in the business, I became the flavor of the month, and I
Yeah.
lasted a pretty good long time until music took another turn. And this turn, to me, it went away from songwriting. It
Mhm.
went away from being experimental. Pink's record is so different from Bling Bling, Ching Ching, and
Right.
most girls, like the songs that she was doing, I mean, drastically different. That kid was like, "I wanna change, I wanna do something different," and I believe that was happening a lot, in early
Yeah.
2000. But, honestly, it's just, I'm older, I'm more precious, and I kinda started finding my way out of writing songs and producing for people because I wanna do weird, cool shit. I wanna do stuff that lasts. I don't wanna do stuff. I've had worked with artists that we're on a total great journey of exploring a whole new sound, and then Adele or Beyonce drop an album, and then it's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I want that." It's like, "But they just released that. What are you talking about, you want that? They just did that. You're doing your own thing. You're doing your own version of that," you know?
100%. As an artist, you describe like the thing that it's always like the flashy penny. And it is so hard to tell, even your team or whatever to be like, well, we can't always look at the flashy penny because they have been developing that for probably years before it even just got released. And it is so much more important to just like listen to your authentic self. And like, kudos to you for being a writer and producer and artist, and even working with artists like Pink. She's the epitome of just listening to who she is and
Yeah.
doing what she wants. Do you think, as such a prolific songwriter,
Wait, wait a
would
minute.
you?
Wait, I wanna ask you the same thing, though. What about you? Like, did you feel like, what was your time for you and how you were, and how you saw music then and where you see it now?
Yeah, you described it so perfectly. I've been living in Nashville 11 years now, and I think when I first moved down here, it was like, okay, what's on the radio? How do I get a song on the radio? What do I need to write about? And I just felt like I was writing these songs that weren't me, and I was trying to do the thing that was over here compared to just being like, okay, what makes me happy? Like, what music makes me want to wake up in the morning and go record that and go play that? And so I found like in the past really 5 years being in town, I've just switched that, and it changes everything. And I think that when you see artists, like you said, who release music, and it's not a flash in the pan, it's not like up and down, it's like this slow trajectory of growing, and it may take longer to build, but it stays, it's permanent.
Yeah. What
Do you
what are
think?
you wait a minute, I'm not done with you.
I
Wait,
love
why do you
you.
keep trying to cut me out
I
here?
just have so many things I want
I
to
know,
ask
well,
you.
we're gonna have a conversation here
Okay.
I wanna know, so what are you doing right now? So you're in Nashville. How
Mhm.
did that transformation? What was that? Because you were in Canada, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Canada. I like toured in a band van when I was so little, just playing for 4 hours on stage every night to nobody, learning how to do my job. And yeah, I've been in Nashville for the past 10 plus years. And it's so weird because I'm signed to a country record label and I write country songs, but half of me as a musician is just not a country artist. And so
Mm,
I'm I'm a lot of different things into one, and sometimes that can be challenging, or like finding the right producers honestly to help me take these songs in my vision and like make it work. And yet my favorite artists, those are my favorite things about them. It's not about like being the best singer, being the best guitar player, being so cookie cutter that it like fits right into the thing of what they're expecting. It's like being so unique that nobody else is doing what you're doing, and nobody can like find those guitar sounds or really articulate that vision in the way you are. And that's why people want to come see you play or want to listen to your songs, because it's different than anything else.
right. Yeah.
Do you think, as such a great songwriter, it makes you a better producer?
Not necessarily, like, I go through those battles of, oh, I wish I wasn't producing the song because what ends up
Mhm.
happening is, as the songwriter and the producer, I feel like I get stuck on doing it a certain way, the way I hear it, when really having somebody come in with their, fresh perspective
Oh yeah.
would be interesting. Just kind of like, like I don't mix my stuff. I don't mix it because I want a different energy.
Yeah.
Um, Mixers are incredible. Like I don't want to spend the time doing that. And then you go to your mastering person, and that mastering um, takes it to another level. So I feel the same way in the process of songwriting to production. It's like I do the production because I do hear it all in my head.
Mhm.
And I feel like my style is very raw. I don't overproduce, and I like sloppy, um, and just really kinda highlighting the song.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, I might not know that there's a whole other life for the song that it wants to take because I'm so fixated on, "Oh, I just really wanna hear it, on piano and strings," Um, but there's probably this whole other version of the song that somebody else would bring to the table. So, yes and no. Like but I'm also, I don't care. Like if I write a song, there's some cases where I don't want to produce it. And so me and the artist will write it. And I know that they're working with like so and so. And I'll go, oh,
Right.
just take the song to them because
Right.
I also believe in cohesive
Mhm.
albums, even though people are releasing singles after one after the next and not really releasing albums, so to say, until the 7th or 8th song is out.
Yeah.
I do believe in an album sounding and feeling cohesive.
I agree. I think that's so important. Um, do you have a song that you remember walking out of the right that day that you knew was going to be a hit?
I have songs that I believe, still believe, that I wrote, you know, 20 years ago that I believe are hits, but the person I wrote it for didn't believe it was a hit.
Yeah.
Um, I just, I can't really, I don't move that way. I don't want to get caught in that trap. So I write songs, and whatever happens to them. Having hits, is it nice? Absolutely.
Sure.
But it doesn't dictate my actions or my emotions. I try to leave that, "Hey, I wrote the song,
Yeah.
and I know this is great." And have I had disappointments with how artists have chosen to put a song out? 100%, I have had
Mhm.
that. But I have a and there's a computer to the right of me, and in that computer are probably close to 1,200 unfinished songs
Love
and
it.
songs mixed together. And I was just talking to
Oh, she's saying 1 second.
sorry,
You're
I
fine.
accidentally pushed something. I was talking to my, guy Luis, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta organize these songs because when I die, all these songs, I gotta finish them because that is my
Yeah.
son's, that is what he is living off
Absolutely.
of. That's the legacy I'm leaving. So now I'm having anxiety and being overwhelmed with all these songs that I have to complete because I can say this, maybe not every single song of mine is a hit. I'll totally back that up, but I write great songs, whether it's a
Mhm.
hit or not. Every single song I write is good.
Yeah.
And I know that. I don't write bad songs.
I love that. I mean, it's truly a testament to your discography. I have to ask, the day you wrote Beautiful, what inspired that song?
Beautiful is mm, it's a funny little song because it's your subconscious, coming in and sneaking in, trying to remind you that you might be being a little too hard on yourself. Um, it was a surprise because when s- my songs come together, the song shows up melodically, um, uh, structure, arrangement, the chords, it all shows up at the same time. One doesn't come before the other.
Mm.
So as I sit down, I just start playing chords as if I've known these chords. And then a melody will show up, and then I just always ad lib, and then the words just start showing up. And so I was sitting, and then it gets to the chorus. It's like, and I am beautiful no matter what huh? No, no, no. I don't believe that. I can't sing that. I don't believe I'm not writing that song. That's ridiculous. I don't think that at all. I am beautiful. I'm just gonna go, and I'm just gonna get past, because one of my biggest things I tell everybody: do not edit yourself. If a song is there, just complete the song.
Preach,
Don't
sister.
judge
Preach
it.
it.
Don't judge it. Don't start editing it. And
Mhm.
so I had to make myself go back to the piano and, take my own advice, and there the song came. And it at first, I mean, honestly, I didn't understand what the song was about. And then Christina Aguilera showed up, and she was like, because I don't allow entourages, I don't allow managers, labels, nobody walks through those doors until I have a good understanding of the artist and their management and the team.
Yeah.
But definitely no entourages and no labels. No way. They're not allowed in my studio. No
I love you.
disrespect. It's just distractions. And
I get it.
you know what I mean? And
I
maybe a
totally.
label doesn't understand that they're being insulting, and creating a bad energy. And I'll give
Mhm.
that to them, that they're not aware that their presence and the silly things that come out of their mouth regarding a creative can be, you know, uncool.
Yeah.
So when she showed up, she was like, well, will she was all nervous, and she's like, will you play a song? I like your voice, and it'll break the ice for me. Sure. And so I guess I'll just play Beautiful. It's the newest one, and all right, I'll play it. And so I played that, and she got closer and closer to the piano, and then she looks at me and she's like, will you demo that down for me? And write the lyrics. And I was like, what? I mean, no, you can't. You're a hot chick. You can't be singing about how beautiful you are. I still don't understand the song. And then so it didn't make any sense. So my manager at the time just said, why don't you just let her demo the song and then decide after that? And I'm like, oh, good idea. So she comes, I give her the lyrics. She's in front of the microphone. She's like, please, can I bring a friend before? So I allow her to bring a friend. And we're in like a room like this, and just really close, because I'm just, I like being close to the artist. And so I just push record and lay the piano down, and she's just, like this. And then the song starts, and then, so you hear this if you solo the track, you can hear her moving the paper around. And then ding, and the song starts, and she goes to her friend. She's like, don't look at me, and she says that to her friend, like she is feeling really vulnerable. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh, dummy Linda, the song is about not believing you're beautiful. The song is about being insecure about who you are, and hoping that, just letting people know, like, I am beautiful no matter what you think, no matter what you think is me. No, I am beautiful no matter what they say. They is me, you know? And I was like, oh, she's an insecure hot chick. Okay, got it,
That is so amazing. Everybody wants to hear that. Crazy. Gosh, you're giving me
So,
chills.
and that was her vocal. That vulnerable first take was 80% of her vocal, and then we went in on words that she kind of messed up or, had flubs. We just punched in.
That's so incredible. Is there someone who you would still really like to work with who you haven't yet?
I have this, there's a lot of people, I would love to work with Annie Lennox.
Mm.
I would love to, I have a fascination about Madonna because I love her so much. Let me backtrack that one. I loved her when she showed up. It was like,
Oh.
I was like, oh, right. I mean, I saw something on her. It was like something before she blew up. And it was like some live something. And I don't even know how I saw it, but I was like, that girl is going to be huge. And she blew up huge, and her songs are great. And then I started realizing, catching the business side of her, and she's like a black widow, like she's like comes in and she's very calculated
Mhm.
and very thoughtful, and she is hardcore business person. That took me to another level of love. But then Madonna turned into, I don't want to leave my crown behind. I want to wear spandex and act like I'm, still 20 years old. She lost me there. But I believe in Madonna, and I believe that if she could have done all that cool stuff back then that had full on great integrity, whether it was, manipulated or calculated,
Yeah.
it was masterful. She designed the ultimate career, and which launched and paved the way for so many artists. And being able to make one album that sounded like this and then completely do an about face and change directions on the next album, like people weren't doing that. And so what I would love to do, I would love to get Madonna at Carnegie Hall with some strings and acoustic guitar and a piano, some great songs, really great songs that are using that lower register that she used to use a long time ago. And just sit her on a stool and invite a bunch of awesome people and record that live. And then I think she should say, see you guys later. I'm going to step off now and let, a whole new generation take over. And here's my crown, and just move over.
That's
You know,
incredible. Yeah.
I don't believe Madonna should be doing what she's doing right now. And I'm not saying that in a negative, just meaning
No, for
she's
sure.
better than that. She's
Yeah.
better than running around in spandex, acting like she's 20 years old, now singing songs and doing songs that sound like everybody else. Madonna
Yeah.
is far too important of an artist to be
She's
left
special.
with that as her end. So I'm obsessed with giving her her ending,
I
her
love that.
creative book.
I mean, what you
Bookend.
described, gosh, I sure hope that happens. Universe, if you are
It's
listening to
never
this.
gonna happen. She's afraid of me, I think, for that exact reason. It's never, I mean, I've talked to, Guy, I've talked to her managers, it's like,
Yeah.
"It's never gonna happen." And I'm like, "But why?" And he's like, "'Cause she's probably afraid of you, first of all, and how's Madonna afraid of me, little old me?" And he's like, and she has her niche, her people that she works with. And I'm like, exactly. The problem is she's got these
Totally.
yes people
Mhm.
that are just kissing her ass. And anyway, so yes, it would be amazing. Madonna, come to me. And it would
Oh,
be such a great record. I just know it.
yeah.
It would be a great experience. I think she would love me. And I know I would love her. And whether she's mean or nice or whatever condition, I would never judge her because it's Madonna.
I
So
mean,
I just
literally,
feel like I
yeah.
could do this really great album. So yeah, that would be my my like bucket list, the
That's
only one I'd put on my list.
I will be thinking
Make a
about
album for
that.
Madonna.
Yeah, no kidding.
Mhm.
I mean, this past year has been quite the whirlwind for everybody, and I think we both did the Women Who Rock with Vox about a year ago.
Mhm.
Um, Also, What's Up just hit 1 billion views on YouTube, which that's insane. Girl, that's insane. Like, what's it like having a song take on another life in a completely new format like YouTube and then have 1 billion views? Like year
There's
after
a
year.
yeah,
That's incredible.
there's a so, you know, what happens, this is not me being um um what's the word? I don't care. What I'm going to say really is not reflective of how I feel, but it
Yeah.
is a statement of today's conditions. That's awesome. Amazing that a song that I wrote, was viewed 1 billion times. And I didn't make one dime off of it. That's the irony of it. It's like that's what's happening with artists right now and songwriters is,
Mhm.
if this were if MTV played my song 1 billion times, I would be like a trillionaire with
Totally.
the money that would have been paid for
Yeah.
each one of those views.
Yeah.
Music is everywhere. Without music, we have no soundtrack. We have no score following us. We have no action film. We got no romantic comedy.
Mhm.
And got no thriller. You know,
Totally.
we have silence. And it's the most underrated for songwriters. Like, it's the most played thing. You can't go anywhere, but it's the most like um devalued, for songwriter. Like a long time ago, I would have made, a lot of money off of my creative.
Yeah.
And nowadays, there's songwriters that are writing songs all over the place. And who cares? Like, 5 million Spotify hits, views, streams, that ain't nothing.
That ain't
It
nothing.
sounds like a big number, but it's not anything,
No.
And there's this illusion with numbers right now. There's a
Mhm.
huge illusion. But 1 billion views amounts to $0 for me.
Yeah.
And again, not because I'm like, oh, money grab. I've never been like that, but it is a
No.
reality check. So yes, I'm so happy that I wrote a song that is still, you know, that I wrote it and, it was a big hit in 92, 94, or whatever. And it's 21 now, and it's going to be a big hit 2030 and 2040, and it's a classic. It'll always be a classic.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but preserving the art, and what if that was the only song I wrote and I was poor, and and would you tell the girl that is living in a small apartment, hey, congratulations on that 1 billion, views of your, music or your song that you're not getting paid for? It would be heartbreaking. And there's a lot of people out there that have written great songs that are big, that aren't making any money from it, because in these conditions, it's very hard for a songwriter to make money. So,
Yeah, that is such a case. That's so true. It's so easy to look at an artist and be like, "Oh yeah, they must be so rich," when really, there are a lot of starving artists out there who have
yeah.
millions and millions of streams.
And
It's
that's what was run awesome about Bonnie Raitt, Bonnie Raitt finding, the songs and the money for a lot of those artists that got ripped off, that got $5 for writing a song, or $50 or whatever, and got, completely ripped off, that are making, other people millions of dollars. And so I think that, it's very important, songwriting, you know, songs are important. And
they're
if
how we
a Kardashian becomes a
Mm.
billionaire because she shows her, made up face why aren't the songs getting the same respect and the same
Mhm.
attention? Because it's
Mhm.
not as dazzling, you know? Of course, you know, I get it. But it just doesn't seem right that the art of recording is going down the tubes. The art of writing a song is going down the tubes. And it's like, we got to preserve this shit, people, you
We
know,
really
because I have a son that's 6 years old that he's showing tons of interest in
Mhm.
becoming an artist, and he writes all the time. He's just singing things and he plays with me, and you know, we have our musical moments. We have a jam room that he plays in, and you know, and I'm sitting there scratching my head going, shoot, I got to do some shit here, because when he hits 13, 14, 15 and says, "Mom, I want to be an artist. I think I want to do it." I have to be able to look at him and go, "Okay, great. This is awesome. Let me help you. This is the things we can do," or blah 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 blah, and feel confident. But the way things are going right now, I'm going to be like going, "Are you sure? Because it's not very lucrative business, you know, for being a
Right.
songwriter. You know, like, are you sure you want to go that route? Maybe, you know, whatever." So, you
Maybe
know.
become a doctor. Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Like music is such therapy, and thank God there are people on this planet like you and Bonnie Raitt and good good people still trying to, keep the
Oh, and
importance.
but also too, people are gonna go, if they hear this, they're gonna go, "Well, Katy Perry's a billionaire." No, Katy Perry's a billionaire not from her music,
Right.
from her brand, and that's a
Exactly.
very different thing. So there's a
Very
brand where there's a lot of artists. Every artist, when they're influencers, when they have all those 52 million, you know, followers, that, just so you guys know, are not true. Those are
good.
all bots, you know. There's probably a good chunk of people that are their fans, but the rest of it is bought from, you know, Southeast Asia and places all over the world. Somebody just calling in, or clicking follow. That's how that stuff happens. That's how people get numbers like that. And you know, but the brand is what's selling. The brand is bigger than the art. And
Yeah.
that's an important thing to hear. So don't be disillusioned. It's going, you know, the song, what do you mean? You're doing really well. It's Katy Perry and all these people. It's like their brand is doing well and they're selling their brand. And that's what makes money to the ad companies.
Yeah, it really, really is. Um, I
Anyway.
mean, gosh, like real songs I still believe will win in the end. And as we see commercial music follow these different paths, I still truly believe in my heart that like good songs and real music wins at the end of the day. And music has this way of like being therapy for us. So we can process and we can actually navigate through all of these crazy flipping times like what we're going through in our world right now. You just did a fundraiser for Sean Penn's Core Response. This was like rock and relief. You had like Foo Fighters, Sheryl Crow, Carly Simon, Sammy Hagar. What instilled you to put together a fundraiser live stream like this? And did you just call up all your friends and were like, "Hey guys, come do this"?
If it's difficult and uncomfortable, I'll be the first one in line. Like, it's always me putting myself in the most difficult situations. And, you know, I've done stuff for CORE before, and CORE is Sean Penn's organization. They're called CORE Response. And
Mhm.
if there's some kind of thing going on in the world, you'll always see CORE there. They're always the first responders, always, because they just get in and they go. So pandemic hit, they are the ones that started the COVID test, first ones in America, starting at the Dodger Stadium in Los
Mhm.
Angeles. They set up camp there and have given out, have given 5 million COVID tests. And
Amazing.
now they're at, 750,000, probably more right now, vaccinations. And it's a really well organized situation down there. I mean, it's so good. And, those guys started out thinking, we all did, it was gonna be like 2 months.
Yeah.
And then they've been down there for a year,
Wow.
and they have 750 volunteers every day, Monday through Saturday, from 8 to 10, um, every day. So
Okay.
I was like, you know what? I bet those guys are like the morale, and there's people in their cars waiting in these queues for hours, to get their test or their vaccination. So I was like, it'd be cool if maybe I'll see if I can get a stage donated, and I'll just call some friends and we'll just go play, for the people in the cars, play for the volunteers, and just lift the morale, lift the spirit, at the Dodger Stadium, where
So
music is usually, played and games are played, and a lot of stuff goes on. What's going down on at the Dodger Stadium right now is vaccinations, and it looks like a fucking movie. It
yeah.
looks like a movie. It's like I've seen that scene in a movie, and it was shocking to me. So, anyways, I can't do anything, for God's sake, small. Like, I have to think about the biggest and best scenario possible.
Yeah.
And in my brain, it was a 2-day live stream, Friday and Saturday. And I was going to
Yeah.
get like 55 bands, that were going to, and I was going to stream from, it was 12 to 6:30 both days. So it was me calling people, not even friends, like some were friends and some I didn't never even knew, asking people, because what I did, I had live. So at the Dodger Stadium, I had two stages. I had a big stage, main stage, I had an acoustic stage, and then I had my virtual performances. So it
Amazing.
would go main stage, acoustic stage, virtual performance, main stage, acoustic stage, virtual performance, and then talking in between. And it was awesome. It was like Amazon jumped in like out of nowhere. I've never seen a big company like them move so fast. We did this in less than 3 weeks, and Amazon jumped in on the last 3 days, and they said, "Okay, we're in." And they streamed it for us via Twitch, Amazon. It went on YouTube, came to the table.
Amazing.
Rolling Stone let us, um, do the channel through their, channel on YouTube. YouTube gave us the red carpet. We got over, it was something like 33 million. Actually, I think that's not even true. I think it's something like 233 million. It's like, it was
It's
huge. We got
crazy.
so many views. It was
That's
shocking.
insane.
And we had one teeny tiny blip, because no one has streamed 6.5 hours. There's not one person in
That's a
COVID
long time. That's a
times
crazy long time.
that streamed 6.5 hours. And so we streamed 6.5 hours. And the one little blip on our Friday, we dropped, and then we're just like, shut it down. We shut it down and booted back up, and it came right back up. So
Amazing.
that was it. And then
So
all day
incredible.
Saturday, so we raised a lot of money, a lot of awareness, and the bands were so happy to play. And it was
Yeah.
very safe. It was everybody had a test, and there was no audience. The fire department was there the whole time. The mayor came down. It was amazing. The city was awesome.
Linda, thank you so much for the time today. I appreciate your brain and your brilliance and your knowledge.
You're welcome.
My last question for you, if there are, I mean, since it is Women Who Rock Month with Vox, if there are, you know, girls who are wanting to get into the industry and wanting to be producers or songwriters or artists, what's one piece of advice you'd give them?
Well, the advice would be, you have to be accountable for your actions,
Mm.
because there's a lot of women, sorry if I get beat up for saying this, that use, that want to go the faster route, and end up in not very good situations because of it, because of the choices. Because let's just face it, there's a lot of dickhead men out there
Mm.
that are using their power to try to persuade and, hey, oh, I can totally help you out. I run a label. Yes. Oh yeah, I could sign you. And, they'll go that route, and, you know where that leads. But some some women go that route.
Mhm.
But then, then it's harder to stick to what you really want to do. And I'm seeing a lot of women doing that now. But it's hard and you have to work at it. Sorry,
You do.
you do. Women have to work harder at it. That's it. Bottom line, it should be the first thing that pops out, when a girl is born. It's like, first thing you just need to know, my little baby you, is that life is going to be you're going to have to work harder than your brother.
Totally.
That's it.
Nope.
Got it. Got it. Noted. You can't
Hard
even
work,
take that part
accountability.
away.
Yeah, hard work and
You know what I mean?
accountability. Amen. That's like preaching to
You
the
just
choir.
can't take it away, unfortunately. You just can't take that part away. So hopefully, you know, um, we do get to a point where women are being paid equally and looked at equally. And we're getting there, but it's still going to probably be a while. But I would just say, just do what you feel is the right thing to do. And this is to anybody. It's not boy or girl, whatever. Do what you feel is the best thing for you. Follow your instincts.
Yeah.
Don't follow the easy path, because it's never easy.
Right.
It's never easy. The quickest way in is also the quickest way out, and
Love that.
you have to understand, if you're going to go into this business, you have to understand it's sleazy, it's slimy, it's dirty, and it's grimy, and there's going to be incredible moments and there's going to be incredibly overwhelming lulls. You're going to have success and you're going to have failures. You're going to have the time of your life. You're going to create things that you didn't even believe you couldn't even imagine you could create. And people are going to take it away from you, and they're going to put you down, and they're going to rise you up. It is the biggest roller coaster in the fucking world. And just as long as you know that, you're good.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, that was just the mic drop we needed. I look up to you. I respect you. Thank you for sharing your heart with us today.
Thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate it. And I hope you are well and you take care of yourself through the rest of this thriller movie, this
Oh
ongoing.
my gosh. Next time I'm in LA, I want to come see
High
your
five.
studio.
Yes, please.
Lindsay, thank you so much. That was inspiring. You guys are both amazing. Thank you, everyone, for watching at home. Lindsay, if you can stick around for a second, I'll see you on the kind of other side of this. For those who haven't had a chance, please check out the videos that we did with both Linda and Lindsay last year. We'll put them in the comments section so you can see them. Once again, thank you to everybody. You guys were amazing. And we'll see you guys soon.